Good day everyone, my name is Kim Torres and welcome for today's online debate. I'm your speaker and it's a great pleasure for having me here to participate in this online debate together with the online debaters. We all know that the learning process in this time of pandemic is such a struggle one for all of us students as well as the teachers, in which all of us are crying for the so-called online learning, which is very pricey in terms of having a data allowance and a stable internet connection in order to be present in all of our subjects with their online platform. We are inviting you today to inform and know the students about the affirmative sides of having an online class and crying to be approved by all the academic risk in this time of pandemic, in which all of us are affected in all aspects of life, most especially in the financial status. Before we start, let me introduce to you our online debaters. For the side of having an online class, let me introduce to you Miss Maria Regina Villardar and Miss Jessa Soreso. For the side of crying for academic risk will be Mr. Paul Brian Reyes and Mr. Jose Richie Torres. For this debate, I will give them two questions and let them give their opinion. So let's start. Question number 1. Is online learning an effective way to learn?
Yes, I agree that online learning is an effective way to learn because online learning enables you to study or teach from anywhere in the world. This means there's no need to commute from one place to another or follow a rigid schedule. On top of that, not only do you save time, but you also save money, which can be spent on other priorities. The virtual classroom is also available anywhere where there is an internet connection, and a good way to take advantage of this is to travel. For example, if you are studying abroad and you want to get a job, online education is a great choice. So, there's no reason to give up on working or studying while exploring new and exotic places.
Yes, I also agree that online learning is an effective way to learn because online learning platform provides a benefit of setting your own learning pace. It also enables the flexibility of the setting of schedule that is according to the benefit of the teacher and the students. It provides a better balance of both studies and work. As a result, you don't need to put off that extra effort in it. And as you learn to manage between your studies and work, it teaches you better time management as well.
Thank you for sharing your opinion, Miss Maria Regina Villardar and Miss Jessa Soreso. And for now, let us hear the opinion for the side of Mr. Paul Brian Reyes and Mr. Jose Richie Torres.
No, virtual learning is not an effective one. We have a varied economic status. Not all students can afford the new mode of learning, which is the online or virtual learning, because they have no enough technology to be used on, and because of this it can have a negative impact towards the learners due to the reason that they will stop for a while. Moreover, virtual learning is quite different from actual classroom setting because they cannot facilitate each of the students' learnings, and this is the most vital factor to be considered in all aspects of education.
Apparently, we need to admit that the traditional face-to-face learning is still the most ideal form of education. But because of this pandemic, it is no longer in our best interest. The only thing left to do is to urge the government to improve the current situation and gradually end this pandemic. Once and for all, it is only way to save the student, parents, and teachers from the misery of unprepared and forced education.
Thank you for sharing your opinion, Mr. Paul Brian Reyes and Mr. Jose Richie Torres. And now for question number 2. If academic freeze is the best option for the students, would you agree?
I don't believe in academic freeze. That academic freeze will only be beneficial to those who have money because the learning there is much more advanced. To freeze learning for 1 year, our less fortunate Filipinos will be left behind. They were already behind before this pandemic occurred. What more if we push this academic freeze?
I don't believe in academic freeze because delayed suspension of classes might discourage many to enroll once they open. Without students' educational costs to keep the paychecks coming, an academic freeze would probably lose the work security of the instructors and school laborers, many of whom have already lost their jobs.
Thank you again for sharing your ideas and opinion, Miss Maria Regina Villardar and Miss Jessa Soreso. And now let us hear for the side of Mr. Paul Brian Reyes and Mr. Jose Richie Torres.
After weighing both sides, my conclusion is to say no to academic freeze, or I should say academic freeze is not the best option, but those who are pushing for academic freeze have valid points and a good intentions. They have an insufficient reason to stop an education during this pandemic or crisis. We need to stay safe, but otherwise we should strive to continue living with some alterations. For instance, if your employer allows you to work from home, and why you need to resign from your work, and if the groceries are open and you can continue buying under strict social distancing protocol, why you need to starve yourself? And moreover, why you need to resort to academic freeze when there are methods available to continue education despite the pandemic is tantamount to resigning and starving when you don't have to. So those are going for no child left behind or are blinded by the idealistic sense of the equality that created communism. Education has never been equal even without the pandemic. There are schools with better libraries, better laboratories, and classrooms. Or we supposed to forbid these schools from having these advantages. Public school conduct their classes under the tree or in an open area during calamities, but their classrooms are used as in evacuation centers. Should we force private schools to conduct classes in the same manner? You should bear it in our mind that the pandemic did not create an equality, but rather it only altered the inequality that already exists.
Implementing a nationwide academic freeze is probably the most reasonable among all approach. The fact that this school year was pushing for the online classes with this matter, the critical factors of active learnings can only be achieved through excellent communication. Besides, not all families can afford the monthly plan, the stable internet service demand. Relying on prepaid data can be pretty expensive and not worth the cost. Due to the extended lockdown during this pandemic, many families, businesses, and employees were affected, and some Filipinos struggle to spend money on gadgets needed for new learning methods. As a result, not all people were catered to access these new ways of learning.
Thank you again, Mr. Paul Brian Rejes and Mr. Jose Richie Torres, for sharing your ideas with us. And now the debate is about to end. We have heard the different opinions and ideas of the both sides. It's up to you whether what side you are onto, but what matters most is that keeping safe always, because we all know that health is wealth. Thank you for listening to us. Stay safe and God bless. Bye-bye.